What's up, people? It's Chris Gonzalez here, your favorite West Coast Avenger, and I'm back for another episode of Single Issue Saturdays, where I give my thoughts and I recap some of the issues that I read this week. Now, again, as I mentioned, this past Wednesday, it's a special week since most of the physical issues that I picked up were the Age of Revelation tie-ins, and those are going to be in a separate video. So for this week's episode, I'm going to be discussing just the digital issues that I read this week, and there's 3 of them, and they're all from DC, and 2 of them are DCKO tie-ins. And the first one is Titans number 30, and the writer is John Layman. The artist is Pete Woods, and he also did colors. And Bruno Abdias is the inker, and Wes Abbott's the letterer. And yeah, so in this issue, again, it's going to be Cyborg versus Swamp Thing. And, considering this is on Titans and, Cyborg is a part of the Titans, pretty much a foregone conclusion he was going to win, even though, in my honest opinion, Swamp Thing should have wiped the floor off of Cyborg. If anybody has read Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing, they would know that Cyborg realistically, even though they're fictional characters, but Cyborg wouldn't have stood a chance against Swamp Thing. But again, the issue starts off with, they're in the best 2 out of 3 fights, and yes, Cyborg, he wins the first round. And again, and by the way, I'm going to spoilers, so if you don't know, now you know. But yeah, Cyborg wins the first round by doing a sonic blast, and I thought this issue was cool. Again, I haven't read all of John Layman's run on Titans. I've just been reading the DCKO tie-ins, and they've been pretty fun. This one was okay. Again, some of the choices that were made, I didn't really understood why, like how Cyborg, after he wins the first round, he chooses not to select a new form that he wants to take, and so in the second round, Swamp Thing wins, and it was cool that he chose the form of his materials be made of the materials from the planet Ran, and that's a callback to Alan Moore Swamp Thing run. And I liked how both Cyborg and Swamp Thing, you get a visual of all the different iterations and variants of each character. And for Cyborg, I liked that there was an Easter egg for his look in the Teen Titans Cartoon Network show, and then from the Justice League movies. I thought that was pretty cool. And for Swamp Thing, again, as I mentioned, there's multiple Easter eggs for Alan Moore Swamp Thing runs, and there was one where he's blue, and that's again from Alan Moore Swamp Thing run, where Swamp Thing dies and his consciousness gets it shoots out into the galaxy, and he lands on this planet where he pretty much recreates his hometown and the planet's rock formations, and the foliage is all blue. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, Swamp Thing wins the second round by essentially eating Cyborg and using his digestive acid to eat away at his human parts. And Cyborg eventually wins because Swamp Thing gives up, which kind of contradicts what happened earlier in the issue when Swamp Thing and pretty much taunts Cyborg and saying that all his friends and family are going to die, but the Earth is immortal and eternal, and it will always be there. So, and it was cut with interlude scenes with the rest of the Teen with some of the Teen Titans, including Roy Harper and Donna Troy, and Roy Harper's kid helps Jonathan Kent in evacuating some of the stragglers that were left on Earth, and Roy gets upset, and eventually they get a distress call, and spoilers, by the end of it, someone tricks Roy Harper and Donna Troy, and it's someone who has close ties with Darkseid, and that's pretty much how the issue ends. And so I thought it was fine, but again, Swamp Thing's my guy, so I was a little salty that he lost, but considering it's Titans, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that Cyborg was going to win. So, and in the epilogue, with Booster Golds, it was cool. Gorilla Grodd gets involved, and that leads into the next issue that I read. The next issue was the Harley Quinn versus Zatanna one shot, and this is written by Leah Williams, and the artist is Marika Andolfo. Colorist is Romulo Fajardo Jr., letterer Steve Wands. And yeah, I thought this was a lot better than the Teen Titans issue. And again, first round, Harley won, and she pretty much was smart, and she made it that she hurt. She pretty much made it that Zatanna couldn't speak, so she couldn't cast her spells. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I just liked the art by Marika Andolfo. It fit the vibe that Leah Williams was writing. So yeah, it was cool. And so Harley wins the first round, and then Zatanna, she wins the second and the third round. Spoilers, she moves on. And the only thing that I liked Harley's humor. I felt like Leah Williams got Harley's humor down, and she was breaking the fourth wall. And I thought it was funny that she kept, talking to the audience, and Zatanna was like, "Who are you talking to?" And Harley would be like, "Oh, don't worry about it." So I thought that was pretty cool and funny. And yeah, I like the settings that they were into. The fights were pretty creative, and yeah, the artwork again matched the vibe. And pretty much at the end, Harley apparently knew that she was going to lose, and she was taunting Zatanna and pushing her to the edge so she can, advance in the tournament, because Harley believes that Zatanna can go all the way, and I think so too. I feel like Zatanna is one of the more powerful characters in the DC universe, and she's been a fan favorite, and I know why. So Zatanna moves on, and in the epilogue with Booster Gold, aka Darkseid, possessing Booster Gold's body, he again continues his fight with Grodd. And by the end, Grodd is trying to, relinquish Darkseid's hold on Booster Gold's body by doing a psychic attack. So that's where the issue ends. So we'll see where that part of the story goes. So it was a cool issue. This one shot was cool. And yeah, most of the tie-ins have been pretty fun. And the last issue that I'm actually going to discuss, and it's my favorite issue that I read this week, and that is Nightwing, number 133. The writer is Dan Waters. Got a guest artist, V. Ken Marion. The colorist is Veronica Gandini. Wes Abbott is the letterer. And yeah, so I've been really digging Dan Waters' run on Nightwing. I thought the last issue was really great. It was my favorite of the run so far. And this issue, I think, is just as good. So it's coming off the aftermath of what happened at the end of issue 132, and where Olivia Pierce, she reveals to Nightwing that she's in cahoots with the Zanny entity, and they pretty much frames Nightwing and making it seem like he decapitated her. And so the issue starts with the newscast um, of them saying, "Can Nightwing be trusted? Did he actually murder Olivia Pierce?" So, and then this police investigator, I forgot her name, but she turns off the TV and she just has this conversation with Nightwing, who's at the bedside of Nightwing Prime, who's still feeling the effect. Nightwing Prime's pretty much in a coma based on the being hit with some kryptonite, and the policeman, she just, at first she's like, well, if the mayor, the rest of the police saw me talking to you, she'd be arrested pretty much. So, but she sympathizes with Nightwing because she compares him pretty much as a cross between Superman and Batman, and he will always be the scapegoat when shit hits the fan. So she sympathizes with him, and then later Barbara Gordon shows up and tries to comfort him as well, and saying that superheroes, this is part of the gig, that they're going to be ridiculed and blamed, but they'll get through it. And she goes out, takes his dog for a walk, and then Nightwing, he says, "Oh, I know you're out there, just come out." And Martian Manhunter shows up, and in between the issue, Martian Manhunter, he has his own inner monologue or dialogue saying that something has come to Bloodhaven and it's destroying the city. And him and Dick have this conversation of how the Zanny's pretty much a fifth dimensional being. He's kidnapping these kids, and so they have a discussion on how they're in. They have a discussion that the Zanny wants Dick to follow him into the Cirque du Sin, this other realm, and Martian Manhunter, he's pretty much telling Dick, well, you can't go because you might not come back. But Dick tells him, like, hey, he's kidnapping these kids, I have to go. So Martian Manhunter, he uses his powers to open a dimensional rift to the fifth dimension where the Zanny is at. And Dick goes alone because Martian Manhunter, if he goes with him and if the Zanny gets a hold of Martian Manhunter's powers, it would be a bad thing. So Dick, he goes through this portal and ends up at the Cirque du Sin, and he sees Olivia Pierce again with her decapitated head, and she's telling him that the Zanny awaits. And while this is going on, more kids are being lured to these tents, circus tents that only they can see, and music that only they can hear. And the citizens of Bloodhaven, they're really worried. But anyway, so they're back at the Cirque du Sin, and Dick is ready to confront the Zanny once and for all. So, and then Martian Manhunter, he says that, the Zanny's powers are growing and the music is getting louder, and that the final image of the issue is Nightwing Prime slowly moving his hand, so he's going to gain consciousness. And so we'll see where that goes. Will Nightwing Prime, go to try to help Dick, or will he be hypnotized under the Zanny's powers? We'll see. But it was another fun issue. Again, it's really the Dan Watters run on Nightwing is really building the momentum. The pacing of this issue is really good. The art by Kendi Marion is a seamless transition to Dexter Soy, and he did some villain work recently on Green Lantern, so I really enjoy his artwork. And Veronica Gandini's colors just fit the mood of this really dark story that Dan Mars is telling, so I appreciated that. I liked how the colors were a little bit muted once Dick went into this fifth dimensional portal, so I thought that was cool. So another great issue of Nightwing. So that was it. Those are my thoughts on those 3 issues. And if you read those issues, let me know what you thought of them in the comments below. And just like and comments. Share this video if you can. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, people. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So, but yeah, that was it for this week. And I'll see you in the next video. So thanks again. Peace out.